Welcome to our latest explainers. Today, we're totally shifting the paradigm on how we look at the food on our plates. We are moving away from relying on sheer brute force willpower and getting into what we call culinary alchemy.
Exactly. No more restrictive diets, no more obsessive calorie counting. We're going to show you how to use the NutriBio-AI system to actually cook with metabolic awareness. Let's just dive right in.
So let me ask you this. Why do you inevitably crash at 2 p.m.? And why are you relentlessly craving sugar at night?
Right, it's that classic scenario. You wake up feeling great, solid energy, but by mid-afternoon, your focus just completely tanks. You feel super sluggish, and then suddenly it's 9 p.m. and you're hunting through the pantry for cookies or bread.
We hear this all the time. Listen, if you feel inflamed, heavy, or you're tossing and turning all night, hear us loud and clear. You are not failing. You're just caught in a food environment that was built for shelf life, not for human health.
Absolutely. Those cravings, they are not a sign of weakness. They're actually a highly predictable biological response to exactly how and when you are eating.
And that completely flips the script on the whole guilt trip, doesn't it? It is a biochemistry problem. It is not a lack of willpower.
For sure, your cravings are being driven by really precise molecular pathways. Take the glucose transporter GLUT4, for example, or the master switch known as the PI3K/AKT pathway. Think of them as literal traffic directors inside you, deciding right then and there if your body is going to store energy as fat or burn it for fuel.
And of course, your genetics and your microbiome play huge roles in this too. So the crucial takeaway here is that every single meal you eat is a molecular signal. It's a literal set of instructions for those traffic directors. It tells your biology exactly what to do rather than just being a pile of empty calories.
Now this is where the NutriBio-AI system really starts to shine. We call it chrononutrition. Because think about it, your body is definitely not the same at 7 a.m. as it is at 7 p.m. Every single cell in your body is anticipating what to do based on its own internal clock. Right, so think of your mornings, say from 6 to 9 a.m., as the activation phase. Your cortisol is naturally peaking, so your body is primed and ready to mobilize fuel. Then, as you move into the middle of the day, roughly 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you enter the peak phase. Your insulin sensitivity is at its absolute highest right now. This is your golden window to efficiently process those complex carbohydrates. And as the afternoon rolls on into the transition phase, that sensitivity just naturally starts to drop off. Finally, you hit the wind-down phase from 6 to 10 p.m. This is when your body is naturally preparing for rest. So dumping heavy carbohydrates into your system here completely wrecks your biological clock.
But here's the thing. Circadian nutrition isn't just a one-size-fits-all magic trick. We have to personalize this timeline based on your baseline insulin sensitivity.
Exactly. If you're someone who is highly sensitive and physically active, what we call Profile A, you've got a bit more flexibility. You can handle moderate carbohydrates in the morning and the evening. But if you fall into Profile C, meaning you're dealing with insulin resistance or prediabetes, you need a totally different approach.
Right. For Profile C, the absolute golden rule is front-loading 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein in the morning, ideally within an hour or two of waking up. Doing this totally boosts your natural fullness hormones like GLP-1, and it literally stops you from overloading your system with carbs late at night when your body simply cannot process them.
I just love this metaphor we use. Your kitchen is essentially a high-performance laboratory. And the best part, you don't even need a lab coat or safety goggles to use it. Just a little bit of intention.
That is exactly the heart of the NutriBio-AI philosophy. Every single time you chop, heat, or pair ingredients, you are running a protocol, you're making real-time decisions that either enhance or completely diminish the nutritional output of whatever you're making.
Cooking with this level of awareness means you're no longer just feeding yourself. You are actively practicing applied science right on your own body. You're taking fresh herbs, ancestral spices, and smart ingredients, and you're fighting systemic inflammation and cellular aging right from your cutting board. It is just so empowering.
Okay, you have to hear this number. 2,000%. Seriously.
Yes, this is literally one of my favorite facts to share. It perfectly highlights what we mean when we talk about nutrient bioavailability, because it's not enough to just eat a healthy food. Your body actually has to extract and absorb it.
Exactly. Take curcumin, which is the active compound in turmeric. On its own, your body really struggles to absorb it. But if you apply a super simple culinary technique, like pairing it with piperine from black pepper, you temporarily inhibit a specific digestive process in the liver. And boom, you boost the absorption of curcumin by an incredible 2,000%. Now that is what it means to be a culinary alchemist.
Speaking of essential lab tools for your kitchen, we have to talk about the air fryer. This incredibly simple device actually solves a massive metabolic problem for us.
We all love those crispy, comforting textures, right? The issue is that deep frying almost always relies on oxidized vegetable oils. When you heat those oils to high temperatures, they trigger chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation and lethargy. They just put this enormous, unnecessary workload on your liver.
But by using smart air frying, we get to keep that amazing flavor and that super satisfying crunch, but entirely without the inflammatory oils. Think crispy avocado toast, golden chicken tenders, roasted almonds. You're keeping your meals metabolically clean, and it is ridiculously fast to prep.
So let's circle back to that frustrating late-night sugar craving we talked about earlier and how to actually fix your sleep architecture. Our evening meals act as these critical signals to the brain and liver, basically telling them whether tonight is going to be for resting or for metabolic stress. So here's how you build a sleep-promoting dinner. First, you want to aim to finish eating about 3 to 4 hours before bed, and while you're at it, prioritize a ton of varied fiber. That fiber feeds the good gut bacteria that actively lower inflammation while you're sleeping. You also want to target foods rich in tryptophan, vitamin B6, zinc, and magnesium. Those are essentially the raw materials your body needs to naturally synthesize melatonin. And this is huge. Avoid refined sugar at all costs. A sugar spike at night shoots your cortisol straight up, and that completely disrupts the natural drop in core temperature and hormone release that you absolutely need for deep sleep.
Now, avoiding refined sugar does not mean you have to avoid dessert entirely. No way. Take our sugar-free arroz con leche and tres leches, for example.
Right, we engineered these recipes specifically to give you that cultural joy and that sweetness you want, but without any of the metabolic damage. We use strategic swaps, like erythritol instead of refined sugar, and we add specific fibers. What that does is slow down digestion and totally stabilize your blood sugar.
Which means you can actually enjoy this incredible creamy dessert at night without triggering a massive insulin release. You get all the satisfaction, you completely avoid the crash, and your body can still peacefully transition into its wind-down phase for a truly restorative night's sleep.
The science here is so clear, and the power is absolutely in your hands. Well, in your kitchen, really. These small, accumulated changes in how you combine and cook your ingredients can radically improve your daily energy, your focus, and your overall metabolic well-being.
And we've done all the heavy lifting for you. We've translated all this complex molecular nutrition into delicious, everyday recipes. So now it's your turn to actually put it into action.
We'd love for you to join us on this journey. Just head over to the NutriBio-AI website and click Explore the Protocol. You'll get instant access to our comprehensive recipe guides, step-by-step audio videos, and some exclusive launch coupons, too.
It's time to stop fighting your biology with willpower and start optimizing it with Culinary Alchemy. Visit the site, grab the resources, and let's transform your health together. Because ultimately, you really have to ask yourself, are you going to let your next meal drain your energy, or are you going to use it to literally hack your biology? The choice is entirely on your plate. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.